understand that typically when we demonstrate and we video, there's always an interruption that happens. Someone over the intercom or loudspeaker will make mention of something. So it's a given that every demonstration I have, there is a comment over the loudspeaker. So if you have a question or if you need to use the restroom, you don't need to say, can I use the restroom? You can just raise your hand and we'll kind of escort you out, okay? So that way you're not on video asking, can I use the restroom? So go ahead, Mrs. Goppel.
So these are all worth 10 points. First, we're going to be checking that you're starting at the front hairline, that you have it parted off the section with the same width and diameter. So remember, I showed you that there are many different sizes of rollers. There are different colors. The colors help to identify the width and the size. You can look, we're going to pass some of these around. You can look at them, you can see them. These are your roller set smooth rollers. We want to make sure that it is equal to the hair parting. So you don't want to take a roller set and take a huge parting and put it on a roller. You want your end result to look nice and smooth. You will start from the bigger roller and work your way to the smaller roller. The reason you do that is because most people have smaller hair around the hairline, which is on the back of your neck and around your ears. You want to make sure partings are straight and even. So when we were on you on your hair partings and we continuously said, straighten that parting, straighten that parting. Don't over direct the hair. Make sure it's clean and crisp. That is why it's extremely important to get that down pat. Your roller size is consistent with opposite side of the roller set. You want to make sure that you are not doing large, super small, large, super small. You want to have an even flow from front to back, side to side. You want to make sure the hair are wrapped smoothly around the roller with no fish hooks. What that means is when your roller, you take it all the way up to the end. Do you see? It's all the way up to the end of the hair. Can everybody see that? You will then make sure you roll it nice and smooth. You don't want to have pieces out like this. Those pieces will not curl. You will have hooks or dents in your hair. You want to watch that hair's wrapped on base. On base means full volume. So when on base is directly how the hair grows out of the scalp, you roll it straight down. You don't go off to the sides. God bless you. You want to make sure that the hair is clipped securely to the scalp. You will see that we have multiple types of clips. These ones have a little gap. It's the easiest way to say it. Can you guys see? So when you're getting your rollers, you'll know which one to get because you will get graded on this. You also have ones that do not have. This one is a pin curl. It does not have the availability for a roller to go directly into it. When you place the roller into your clip, it will slide the whole way in, which leaves more room for you to move on to the next roller. So I'm going to pass one around that is a gap and one that is not. You do not want to use these ones. You want the gap. You want to see that gap. You can pass it around if you want. You want to make sure that the hair has proper tension. And it's going to be wrapped firmly to the scalp. When you're wrapping it firmly down, you want to make sure when you're rolling, you are keeping the same amount of tension the whole way down to the head. So when you pin it, the curler doesn't move. The rollers decrease in width from largest to smallest, which is what Mrs. Rosicki is holding in her hands. She has the tan, yellow, orange to blue. That goes largest to smallest for the short hair mannequin. You use an appropriate amount of product throughout the hair. You will be using gel. You will be applying it onto the hair to roll the hair down to help the hair stick to your roller so that you don't get fish hooks and you have a nice smooth roll from end to scalp. You also want to make sure that the hair is completely dry from the scalp to the ends. You do not want to spend your time doing a roller set, putting it in the dryer and rushing through it, start to comb out, and your curls are gone because it's wet. Anything else? Okay.
So I think we'll start with the demonstration now. So on your notes, you guys should all be writing some type of notes. Take a moment right now and kind of recap everything that Mrs. Gockel said. Use your criteria sheet to kind of guide you along those notes. But we're going to start giving you the supply list. And again, you are going to have to go and get your own supplies. So when you
In the dispensary
room, and there are roller carts all throughout the classroom. They are labeled. So when you're saying, I can't find the tan rollers, well, there is a cart that says tan rollers. You will have to search it out. You can't take from someone else, all right? You can't take it out of a mannequin that was already done. You have to find a clean, disinfected roller from a roller cart. So the supplies that you're going to need are, you're going to need some tan rollers. So these are tan. Tan, T-A-N, tan rollers. And you're going to need, I would say, about an average of, we'll say, 8. Sometimes you might need more, sometimes you might need less. Everybody's head is a different size. Doesn't mean if you have a small head that that's good, and if you have a large head that's bad. It does not matter, okay? So some heads are smaller than others. Your mannequin heads are, sometimes they're smaller than others, okay? You're also gonna need to have yellow rollers. So I would have on average about a total of 8 yellow rollers. You're also going to need to have orange rollers. I would grab about 6. Just to get you started. Now, please understand that this is fluid. This can change, okay? If you say, well, Mrs. Rosicki told us to only put 6 rollers in, that's why I have a huge gap. And no. If you need more, then you go grab more. You're also going to need about 6 blue rollers, okay? So all of you should be writing this down for your supply list, the supplies needed. Because when you come to us and say, what am I supposed to get again? You have notes. You should use your notes.
Yes.
Okay? Question? So what did we say for tan rollers? How many did we tell you?
8.
About 8. And how many did we tell you for the yellow?
8.
About 8. And how about orange rollers?
6.
And then what about blue?
6.
All right. Now, down underneath, we told you that these rollers are all the same size in length, not in width or diameter. But there are tiny little rollers that you may need to grab for the underneath here, for the baby hairs. So I would grab a couple of the small or the short blue rollers. Maybe 2 or 3. You might need more. You might not use any. But have a few handy. All right, you're also going to need some combs. Now, when we did hair partings, we used a standard size comb. And the standard comb was the large and small teeth. It had a ruler on the side. right? And we use the large teeth to part with. We used our thumb and we brought the hair back. But now, because we are using very small partings, we're also going to incorporate a new tool, and it is called a rat tail comb. Now, it's not a rat, okay, it's a comb. The title of it is just called a rat tail comb. I didn't make that name, Mrs. Goggle didn't make that name, it's
No.
just an industry term, okay? A rat tail comb. You're also going to need to have a few butterfly clips. However many you think, maybe 2, maybe 6. It all depends on you. You're going to need to have some of your roller clips. So clips, the little metal clips that we sent around that have the real large, I call it sort of like a deep well in there, because this allows the clip to slide over the roller instead of like stopping. And most important, you're going to need a bowl with some gel. Oh boy, how do I get that? Now, we do not have a whole lot of bowls. You guys are going to have to kind of share a bowl with gel. The bowl with gel has a tint brush in it. Where do we find the gel? The gel is going to be in the dispensary room cabinet. It is going to be like a large tub of gel. So we're going to have a little bit of a sanitation discussion. So you go in, you're going to do your roller set. You're super excited. I need to get some gel. Please do not stick your hand into the tub of gel. What you do at home is totally up to you, but because we share supplies, we need to make sure things are clean, disinfected, sanitized. Okay? It's like coming into my refrigerator and saying, I'm going to make a sandwich. Where's your mayo? And you stick your hand in my mayonnaise jar and you put it on your sandwich. Well, now I have to throw that jar of mayonnaise away. You ever go to a party? There's a veggie tray, right? And we always go for the baby carrots and celery. That's what I go for. And there's the ranch. And you see the little kids come over and they pick up a carrot and they stick the carrot into the ranch and they lick it off and they stick it back into the ranch. Are you going to go for some ranch now?
Nope.
Why? That's disgusting. It's called cross-contamination. We do not cross-contaminate. So, Mrs. Gockel, how do we get the product out of the jar? What are
Well,
we supposed to use?
you could use your tint brush, or you could take your gel like I did this morning and just dumped a little bit into your bowl. You can always go back for more, because once you put that gel in your bowl and you touch your client's head, you cannot then go back in and use your tint brush to get it back in the container to add to it.
Oh, double dipping. There's also a spatula that you can use. And we'll show you when you go into the dispensary room. Okay? So all of you should be writing this down. Use a spatula, use a tint brush, and please do not take a ton of gel. You are always able to go back and get more. Okay? Don't fill your bowl with a heaping wad of gel, because you're not going to need all that gel, and now you're wasting product. We cannot use that. You can't put it back into the jar. It's like that ranch dressing. That little kid came and dipped his carrot. You're not taking that ranch dressing that sat out and putting it back into the ranch container. That is going to be a cesspool of germs and bacteria. Okay? So, does everybody understand that? We are not eating gel. Please do not misinterpret what I am saying. Okay? Just throwing that out there. You don't need it. It's pretty pink. It looks like Jell-O. We don't eat it. We don't taste it. Okay? The main product or the main ingredient in gel is alcohol, which leads us into our next supply list. Some of you guys are going to have some sensitivity to things. Now, in a salon, I wear gloves when I put hair color on, when I do highlights, sometimes when I rinse out hair color. When you're standing here for long periods of time using gel, your hands may get dry and cracked, and they might burn. Some of you might come and say, look, my hand is bright red, kind of like how my face is today because I was dumb and I didn't wear sunscreen. All right? Nobody noticed?
Oh, I did.
I did. No one noticed?
They're big red faces.
But you can wear gloves. Now, we have all kinds of different gloves. They are in the dispensary room. We have latex gloves, we have non-latex, we have nitrile, and we have, I forget what the other one is, but there's a lot of
There's
options.
a powder-free one, isn't there?
Powder-free, if you want to wear gloves. However, it's gonna be a little harder for you, okay? Your struggle will be real when you wear gloves. You're gonna have to learn to manipulate, and especially if you have long nails on and you're wearing gloves. They don't make gloves for people with long acrylic nails, okay? So understand it may be difficult. Any questions so far? Guys good? Everybody has their notes. Okay, so we're going to start. This is our model. She needs a little bit of help. Unfortunately, she has been robbed of her rollers over the years.
Yes.
She's a couple years old. We gotta redo her. She needs some help, but we're gonna actually use her for the come out. All right. So this is a sample. So we're gonna make this lady here look similar to this. The mannequin that you're using is the mannequin that was assigned to you at the couple weeks ago. It's a short hair mannequin is what you're using because you're using or doing a short hair roller set. So you're gonna also need to use your water bottle that is at your station. So we have to wet this customer's hair down. So I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna start putting this in and you go ahead and talk. I could probably get this done in no time. All right, so I gotta use a side part. So remember your left or your right side part? You pick what side you wanna start on. So we're gonna start to add some water to the hair. And then we're gonna add a little bit of gel. So you see how I'm just wetting the top of the head with a water bottle? I'm not spraying myself, I'm not spraying someone else. And then I'm gonna take my gel on my tint brush. I should see all eyes over here. All of your eyes should be over here because I don't know how you're gonna learn this if you're not looking. And if you need to come and stand over here so that you can see more, we're not afraid of you. And we did take showers today.
We did.
So, we don't smell. But you're gonna place the gel on the hair like that. I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna use her left side part. And we're gonna take our rat tail comb and just push the hair out of the way. It's a little tangled this morning.
She was tiny.
And I'm gonna start to work a little quickly. This is not gonna take, you guys aren't gonna be able to do things this fast. So
We've
we're
been
gonna,
doing this for a long time, so
Yeah.
don't compare yourself to anybody else in the classroom. Everybody works different. Remember, we are starting, she's measuring to see her first parting. You wanna go the length and the width of the roller. So she's gonna follow that line to get her parting. She's gonna go in and make sure that she starts combing from, well, maybe. It's a little tangled. She has a sufficient amount of gel on the hair. She's gonna comb all through to evenly distribute that gel. It is extremely important to have enough product on the hair strand so that it adheres to your roller smoothly and without fish hooks. The next step that Mrs. Rozicki is going to do is she's going to hold tension so her hair is nice and taut, it's not wiggly. She has all the way up to the bottom hair. She's going to smooth the hair to the very end of the roller so it's even, there's no fish hooks. And then she's going to, holding the proper tension on the hair, she's going to roll the hair completely down to where the hair grows out of the scalp. She's going directly on base for maximum volume.
so, take note of my body stance. My arms are up. Might be a little uncomfortable, but you guys are gonna have to develop some kind of muscle memory in here. I also say it's better to use too much gel than it is not enough. When we brush this out, like this lady's gonna get brushed out, she's totally dry, she needs a style. All the excess gel will kind of just fluff off. So you can't overdo it. I mean, I guess you really
I mean,
could,
you could.
but
Yeah.
use a little bit more than what you think. Now, because there's gel in the hair and it is a stickier substance, it's just kind of hanging right there. I don't even have it clipped. I'm going to take my roller clip and I'm going to slide it at the scalp all the way through. So right now, my customer has one roller in and you can't really see the clip. Okay? 'Cause
Why
it
would you
slides
not put the
through.
clip in the front of the hair, Mrs. Rozicki?
Anybody know that answer? Why would I not put it in the front?
It will crimp the curl. Very good. You will leave a mark from the pin, or the clip will leave that formation. So then you'll have a ridge in the hair, which will take you forever to get out, if you could even get it out.
We don't want ridges. So when we set the hair from a wet state into a dry state, it's gonna hold that pattern. How many of you have ever went to bed with a wet head? You put a ponytail in, you took it out the next day, it was dry, it was crimped, it was fuzzy, you said, oh my gosh, my hair is destroyed. The same concept. You put it into a formation, you let it dry, and that's what it will hold. Now, how did you get it out? Carry on. You brushed it. Ah, key word.
Wet.
We wet it. Megan.
All those clips are on front.
It really doesn't matter what side you put it on as long as you slide it at the scalp. Okay? If your customer is a little sensitive, I'd probably not put the clips up around the hairline because you're gonna put this person under a dryer.
It's gonna get hot.
It's gonna get hot, could burn their face. But really, you have to just slide it through there to hide it. Okay, that's what we're looking for. All right, so I'm gonna keep going.
She's using every roller. You're not gonna eye. You're always gonna make sure that you measure your roller to your parting. She will go down. She's gonna do the same exact thing that she did. This is a repetitive style. You just keep doing the same thing. The more consistent you are, I'm sorry, I didn't brush her.
Yeah,
The
she's
partings
just-
are very important, especially for the comb out process, which we will demo to you guys in a few days or weeks or whenever the demo comes around. You want to make sure, again, if you notice that hair is dry, so she's going to go back in and re-wet that portion of hair and also add some more product, because if she tried to do it right now, it wouldn't adhere to the roller to give you a nice smooth roll. Does anybody have any questions on what she's doing step by step? Abigail?
Should you put the gel on the underside or the
Do a little bit of
Yeah,
both.
it doesn't really matter as long as that hair, as long as that hair is covered with gel, because remember, you're drying from the outside in. So,
Also understand too that you want to make sure the hair is detangled. You don't want to put this in when the hair is tangled. You also want to make sure, let me go down the next size, that when you are placing the roller in, that you are pushing the hair away from you first and you're bringing it back down to the ground. Do not go down to the ground and roll it away from you because your pattern will be the wrong way.
Yes.
We want full volume, we want a lot of height in here, and by doing it, pushing it away and bringing it towards you, that's how you get height.
I
Okay.
say, yes,
Does the combing help get the gel through the hair?
I'm sorry?
Does the combing help get the gel through the
It does, yes, because it'll help evenly distribute it.
How do you tell when to switch sides? Like, of the...
You'll see from the size of the head and the amount of hair. You have most hair here, then a lot of people thin out on their hairline. So that's when you would go down to the smaller rollers. You don't want to put too much hair on a roller. You want to make sure that it's covered enough to where the heat can get into those holes and heat that hair inside out. So if you put too much hair, it's like if you would grab a curling iron and you grab a big section and wonder why the top curls and the bottom doesn't. You want to make sure that's why you go through, you follow the hair pattern. You might have some clients that you can only do blue rollers on, and you won't be able to go largest to smallest. You have to get to know your client's head during the consultation to see their hair pattern. If they have thinner areas, one side is always thicker than the other. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're okay.
I feel like Vanna White. I'm like, Dakota. Go ahead.
Alright, so we will do this one section here, and then we will have a finished product for you, okay? We don't wanna keep you here for the entire duration, and we will assist you as you all start the project, okay? Now, remember, some of you are gonna pick this up real quickly, some of you are not. Nobody wins an award at the end, okay? Now, there is not a race. It is, we would rather see quality
Over quantity.
right. So if you're racing through things just to get it done, we're not letting that customer leave the salon, all right? Do not race through it. We want quality work. I'd rather you take longer on doing something and do it right as opposed to racing through something and not doing it right, okay? We want you to actually learn it. So, and this takes practice.
And remember, this is now your client. This is not a mannequin. This is not just a head. This is not just a doll. This is your first client. So how you treat her and the way that you do things to her is going to help guide you into how you are going to react with clients.
I didn't mean to just stick my hand in her eyeball with my my gel finger. I'm so sorry. Let me get that off of you.
I'm
I
telling
didn't mean
you.
to do that.
Yes, Maya. Because you're measuring. Remember in the beginning we measured the width and you're also measuring the length.
My other suggestion is when you are working on this project, you are dealing with a lot of water and gel. And if things fall on the ground, that's okay, but you've got to clean it up. You can't leave your gel pile on the ground. Now, I'm not going to clean it up right now because the chance of me making more is pretty high. I would keep your bags out of the area where you are working. So it seems to be working out pretty well that you guys put your bags in the second practical room when you are out in the practical area, because I do not want you to have to go home and try to wash out your bag with crusted gel, hair all over it. I know your bags are expensive, your personal items are expensive. I need a different one.
Roller?
Oh wait, I needed an orange one
Oh, my bad.
instead of blue. I was like, why is that going in? So. Also, you may want to put a towel down. So where you are working, on the floor, there is water. You're going to step in it. You're also going to get gel on your shoes. So please make sure that you are not wearing your $250 shoes here, because we are not replacing your shoes, all right? You got gel on it, you're going to have to clean it off yourself.
Aurora, what was your question?
Oh, what if your client has good hair, but they want good rollers? Or like something like that?
That's okay.
That's okay. If they have
Yeah.
thin hair, you would just use whatever you can, whatever size. You could go to the largest size that you can fit in her hair. You want to make sure. Aurora asked, what do you do if your client has thin hair? That's an excellent question, because if your client has thin hair and she wants volume, you're not going to use, if it's short, you're not going to use a red roller on her. You're going to use a tan. Do you see the difference? You're still going to over direct that hair away from you and roll down to the scalp to give them that volume. And when you tease or comb out, we'll show you how to make it look thicker. Ice lady.
Two mannequins, one usually has longer hair or short hair. Which one do you want to use? And I know it has short hair roller set, but which one do you
I would do the shorter hair.
Short.
Yeah, shorter
You're
hair.
also gonna find in your mannequins, because they are older customers, they have a lot of stuff done to their hair. Their haircuts aren't always gonna be exact. You're gonna have gaps. Like I had one right here, I don't know if anybody noticed. I had pulled the hair up and there was a big chunk that was shorter. So I rolled what I could, and then as I got to that point, I added it in. You can't just leave it, okay? You just kinda add it in. Alright, so this is the front left side of our short hair roller set. Alright, so you can see we started with the tan, yellow, orange, and blue. Okay, so this is one side. Now I'm gonna go over to the next side, but we're not gonna do that right now because you guys have had enough, right? We all have time limits. Our attention spans are very short. And it's not your fault, it's a natural thing, okay? So this is the front part of the roller set, just a small piece of it.
Well, you would do.
Everything is opposite, yeah, away from you and then towards you,
Yes.
okay? See? Alright.
Like longer hair.
So this project is 100 points.
Did you
You
guys
guys
hear
all
that?
understand that? This is
100 points.
100 points. The second half of this, when we do the comb out in style, that is 100 points. Your long hair roller set will be 100 points. So you can kind of get the gist. Everything that we teach you is typically 100 points. Not all of you are going to get 100. Please understand, a 50% is better than a 0. If you're like, forget this, I can't do this, I suck. Something is better than nothing. If you're like, I'm just not even going to do it, well, now you have a 0. If you attempt it and it's really not good, that's okay. You attempted it. A 50% is better than a 0. You can do it again for a better score, and do it again for a better score. But if you don't do it at all, it remains a 0. You guys understand that?
And remember-
Nobody is exempt from doing this. I have had students that were legally blind that did this. I had students that only had one hand that did this. There is no excuse.
And
You guys
remember,
get that?
the more you guys practice, the more you actually work. Talking is fine, but the more you work, the better you're going to become. There's going to be days at a salon that you are so busy, you are not going to be able to talk. So you want to get the work done. Practice makes perfect. If you don't like the way the roller sits on the scalp, take it out and do it again.
You cannot do practical work sitting in a chair. You have to stand. You have to stand the whole time.
Yes.
If you're like, I need a break, take a break, but not a 20-minute break.
Right.
Okay? In a salon, this should take no more than a half of an hour to put in. It's going to take you guys 3 days. Do you understand
First
that?
time. Laurel and then Alora and then Isley. Laurel.
So, are we gonna like take them out at all today?
No. I mean, you could take them out if you do one to redo again. You have 3 times to practice before you turn in for a break.
They have 3 days to practice.
3 days
Yeah.
to practice, I'm sorry.
To try to finish
Yes, to try to get it done. If you get it done today, you absolutely can turn it in today.
it. Right.
But don't think that you have to rush and get it done today. Okay?
Take your time with
Give me
it.
1 second, Megan.
Isley.
Laura.
Oh, sorry, Laura.
So that's up to you. So I'm left-handed, so I would always start on the left side. Mrs. Rozicki starts either on the left or the right. She can do both. I'm predominantly left, so most of my stuff starts on the left and works away from there. Because you need to have area to tease for volume, which you'll learn when we do the comb out. Isley. Oh, good. Okay, Megan.
When you like typically do like a roller set and like roll it on, how long do you wait before you take it out, before you brush it out?
Will you put it under the dryer, Some people's hair dries in 20 minutes. Some little old ladies like to keep that water and moisture in their hair, and they're under that roller set for 40
Miss,
minutes.
I'm done. And you go check it,
It's not
and you're
done.
like, yeah, no, you're not done.
Yeah.
They think they know.
And then they're like, wait,
They're
I'm
taking
done.
it out. You're like, oh no,
You're
don't
like,
take it out.
Yeah. So it all depends on the hair because I'm gonna take longer to dry than somebody that has thinner hair. I have a ton of hair, so it's gonna take me close to 45 minutes for a roller set to be completely dry from scalp to ends.
I'm gonna do this one right here to
Yep.
show the separation of the part. Because on the opposite side, you're gonna have to roll the hair the other way. Cause like the hair is parted here and it's split. So this hair will go that way and then this hair goes this way.
Yes.
Right. Whoop, you're fine. Where are you going? I know you wanna go home. It's okay, we'll get there.
Sally's not happy today. She wants to leave. Yes.
For the partings, like whenever you do like the left part or the right part, do you have to do a part on both sides?
So what Mrs. Rozicki is doing right now, because her hair already had a part, she's taking one more roller up to the top to separate that part. So then you go left, then you go right, and then on the back you go down, down, down. So you'll go side, back. Okay, so like if you look on this one, you go down the side, and then if you look on the back, you're coming down on the back. Okay? Yes.
Do you do like whenever you do the back, do you do the middle first or do you do the right or the left first?
I prefer to do the middle first because then I can get the proper sectioning. But what you could do is start in the middle with your first roller and then take your other two and work so you get proper. Because remember, everything is measured from the roller length and width. So if you have thinner hair right here, you're going to use a smaller rod right there to get all of the hair into the roller set. Yes.
When you part the hair, the side part, what way do you go to put the roller?
You're going to go horizontal. You're going to follow the hair. Do you see how they roll down?
Say the part's like right.
So what I
here's
just
your-
did
here's your
here
part.
was,
Here's your part. You're rolling it
Is that the middle?
this way. It's a side part. Do you see?
so these two right here is where my part is. It's the split. So I did a left part. So all this hair down here gets directed
So
down
when you
this
part
way.
This way, you can.
And then all of this hair now is gonna go that way.
Guys, do you know how to put the partings in
so
the
the
hair?
curl-
Back there in the back corner?
It's
And y'all are
going that
talking?
way and that way.
Okay.
Right. All right.
Do you go left to right or right to left? Or left?